Good evening, LG, and welcome to episode 2 of season 26 of LGHL Access. Got a bit of a different panel, a little mix-up. We told Dunks to take a hike. Actually, just kidding. He's with a female. I'm not sure what that is, but I'll make sure to get my top reporters on that investigation. Let's get to the panel. The panel I've got tonight is the one dying about my virgin jokes, is Rebel, my favorite co-host. Don't tell anyone else, Fi. Rebel, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Good, man. I'm honestly surprised that female is in Dunk's vocabulary.
I'm not going to comment. We're just going to continue on. And the man without a face, I'm so glad he's here today. I'm just so excited. Everyone's favorite, super nice goalie, even super nicer than Taco. That's for sure. I love him. He's my best friend, J Money. How are you doing this evening, my man?
I'm doing good. Great. I'm happy to be here, and I want to give a shout out to LG Florida, even though only 3 people can probably understand what I'm saying.
Okay, I will.
Everyone's French. I hate it.
Oh, okay, I got it. Yeah. Wow, that went right over. Went right over me. Yeah.
Well, it's stiff, you know that.
It's long gone. I'm trying to grab it. But, Stiffmeister and the boys. You guys had a pretty good week, eh?
Yeah, I mean, they score a lot. Make it easy. Can't complain.
Yeah, and you still put up impressive numbers, but we're going to get to that a little later. So we're going to talk about just 2 things here, a couple things before we move on with the show. We've got Lines of the Week and Power Rankings, and, of course, Rebels Corner, not all in that order, however. But first off, we're going to talk about some trades that went down, and first but not least for sure is the big toilet bowl game. Were either of you able to watch such a spectacle?
No, I was not able to watch that game. I had a game of my own, but I was actually active in the chat box in between periods so people could give me updates because I was very interested, and it seemed like a really good game.
Fine.
I didn't catch the game because I didn't want my eyes to bleed.
That's fair enough. The toilet bowl game, there's a rumor going around actually right now that that whoever lost had to send their first round pick to them, and well, obviously the Islanders lost and Bermanti sent it over. So congrats on getting a free first round pick. So I mean those are some high wagers, first round picks. You think we should put those kind of wagers on our game, Spy?
If I'm in them, no, because we'll just be losing assets left and right.
Oh, man, I can't say I disagree with that statement at all. All right, so the toilet bowl was what was the final score? That was like 5-3 Dallas. Is that the final? Anybody catch the score?
I heard it was a 1-goal game with the game winner on like a breakaway in the final minute.
Wow, that's intense. That's a biggie.
A biggie for a toilet bowl.
Do you think everyone? I didn't watch the game, but I could only imagine the amount of wristers from the blue point that the blue point from the top taken. Just turds on net, just get guys in front, bodies crashing. I couldn't only imagine. It was probably just a fantastic viewing of exactly what NHL 17 is meant to be. So yeah. So all right, so we're going to talk about a little bit about trades that happened. Rebel, J Money, you guys wanted to talk about some trades. Anything that caught your guys' eyes that was a big move thus far? We're at Friday night right now, so it's early.
I'm a big fan of my boy Suter making his way off of the Islanders, giving him some life with a newfound team in Montreal. I liked the Gandhi and Globes trade. I like Gandhi. He's a solid player. I think that's an upgrade for those guys. And those are 2 that definitely come to mind.
Yeah, I'm sure Suter is very pleased to be free. And, Montreal, I'm sure, could definitely use his presence. Suter's a great defenseman. And, yeah, I mean, if Zinke, I believe, Zinke can get Gandhi to show up, man, it's a huge trade. Nothing against Global, but Gandhi has proven numbers that can do pretty well for any team if he shows up. J Money, anything?
The ones that caught my attention, Savvy, trading, almost half his team each week. Steve B, JT, and Crazy Canuck for Binger, Lazy Pedestrian, and Garrus. And also, I lost Victimize. On Florida. We ended up getting the young prodigy from Montreal, and that just makes me sad because I lost one of the few people that actually speak English on the team.
Yeah, Prodigy's a good guy, though. I like Prodigy. I think you'll like him, too. And he's a Conn Smythe winner, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't he win it that one season, Fi? I feel like he did.
Were you talking the... I don't remember that season. What team was he on?
You know what? We're going to all look like idiots here and not know the answer to that. I think we'll get that answer later, though, for sure. So we're going to bring up... Okay, we'll get our fine journalists on it, our fine reporters. Okay, so we're going to take a break here. Next up's going to be Lines of the Week. You're going to hear that from Rebel and myself, and we're going to talk a little bit about who the best players are from the East and West Conference. So stick around, and we'll be right back. Where down we go. Hello, and welcome back as we are here for Lines of the Week. We're going to have East and West. This week, I'll be taking care of the East. Good thing there's no Detroit players that did well enough for it, or you would hear the ranting in the streets. Definitely, I don't think we'll see Rebel on it anytime this season. No offense, Rebel.
I don't make many appearances.
only in your bed for Rebel's Corner. That's where we most look forward for you.
I'm only here for my good looks. That's it.
Oh, Christ. Someone canceled the show and stopped paying us now. Oh, wait. So anyways, Rebel's going to do the West. I'm going to do the East. So I'm going to start this off with the East lineup. First up, at right wing from Washington, we've got Ghost, L53L. He put up 8 points, 6 goals, 2 assists, no PIMs. It wasn't a detriment. So that was good. +5. 54.5 shot percentage, which is very good. Had a big 1-0 win over Winnipeg, 4-3 win over Minnesota, and a 5-3 win over Tampa Bay. Up next at center, it's listed as a right wing, but it's been playing center pretty much the whole season, I believe. We've got Dookie, who put up 6 points with some pretty good wins for Dookie here, beating New Jersey 3-2. New Jersey having an awful week, very terrible. I think they were like 2-7. 3-2 win over Edmonton, and a 5-3 win over one of the big favorites this season, San Jose. He had only 6 points. I know that the center on Territor on Florida put up a lot more points, but I felt Dookie, not carried Toronto, but definitely was a big reason for Toronto's success. He had 3 goals, 3 assists, no PIMs, which is awesome. You want to see that from your center, and a +3. Very good week for Dookie. Next up, at left wing, as this comes no surprise, the LGHL's leading goal scorer, we've got Stiffmeister, now known as XL space Stifler space LX. Lord. I feel like they come up with 100 gamer tags and put it in a hat whenever every couple weeks they draw one out and go with it. Stiffy here is 3-0 in the week. Got some big wins, 10-3 over Edmonton. 6-3 over Vancouver, and a 3-0 win over New Jersey. New Jersey is just the LGHL's punching bag this week. Stiff put up 16 points, which is over 5 points per game. Pretty impressive. 11 goals, 5 assists, +13. No PIMs either. No PIMs on this whole forward line. Pretty a friendly line, I guess, to play against. With Stiffmeister having a 61.1 shot percentage. Sorry, I'm getting too excited, getting ready for the goalies. So pretty good shot accuracy there for Stiffy. Moving on to the defense at right D, we've got a shocker here. This was tough. On defense, it was really tough, and I think honestly for how poorly this team is playing as a unit, I think he was most deserving for getting 3 wins on such a team that's not playing so well, and that's Clack. Big Clackin put up a 3-0 week. Got some wins over Chicago, Colorado, and the miserable Dallas, but Good win over Colorado there, 4-3. He put up 3 points, 1 goal, 2 assists. No PIMs for Clack, staying out of the box. That's good. A +1, and kept his giveaways down. Only 16 giveaways through 3 games. I say it's not too bad. I think that's pretty good actually. So good for Clack in that week. On lefty, Stiffmeister's line mate. So it looks here. It definitely is. It would be Poland's finest with a 3-0 week. Same wins as Stiffy with 6 points, 1 goal, 5 assists. He did have a penalty, 2 PIM minutes there, plus 13 for Poland. Very good plus minus there for him. And moving on last here, we've got in net. This was absolutely no surprise. He is the best goalie the LGHL has to offer. 6-0 from Florida, being carried by the millions and millions of goals. J Money with a big week, picking up wins over the Islanders 10-1. Wow, how much practice did you put in for that game, J Money?
10-1. I was probably on my phone 90% of the time.
That is embarrassing. I really hope no one from the island is watching. Other wins over Edmonton 10-3, 6-3 over Vancouver, 3-2 over Anaheim. Anaheim actually not having a terrible week. One line's figured it out. They need to get the other guys clicking. 3-0 over New Jersey, 3-0 over New Jersey, and probably a game I really wish I would have been able to watch was 2-1 over San Jose.
That was a very good game. Jones, the other goalie in net, it was definitely a goalie show. It came down to the final few minutes, and they had a 5-on-3 and then another power play, and we definitely held on for that one.
All jokes aside, probably two of the better goalies right now, so that would have been a pretty good game to watch. But J Money posting up an 84.6 save percentage this week with a 1.67 GAA. Only had 1 shutout, but those are some pretty good numbers otherwise. So very solid week for J Money, and that wraps it up for the East lineup. Fi, what do you got for the West, my man?
Yeah, moving on to the West here. Just as a quick disclaimer, most of you have probably figured this out, but if you don't have a 3-0 week, we're probably not going to see you on the top line of the week. So, as mentioned, myself, you'll never see Rebel. That's not unbiased reporting. That's just how bad I am. And moving on with these guys, you've guaranteed all undefeated weeks. I'm honestly a little bit surprised to see this guy on the lineups because I'm usually buying fruit from him on the side of the road. Chicharito 19. If I'm, hold on, let me get my speak out there. The Chicharito 19, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He finished up with 10 points this week with 23 goals and dishing out 7 assists. An impressive +7. That's the Winnipeg. That's what we do down here at the county fair. We go on Winnipeg, okay? But moving on, that's your right winger from Winnipeg. The impressive wins against New Jersey and a couple of playoff teams. Not including his center. Moving on, as mentioned, those Anaheim Ducks. Elite Hydroponics. As Bryson mentioned, these guys have gotten it figured out. Another 3-0 week for these guys. They've got 66% of Anaheim's wins to this point. Can we maybe throw them a first line or two? He's got 9 points, 4 goals, 5 assists, so he's on both ends of the spectrum, dishing and finishing, and a good +4 in those 3 games. So another solid week for Hydro there. His line mate, left wing Schlemko, again, our Rebel of the Week from last week, finds his way to the lineup of the week once again with an impressive 11 points, including 2 goals and 9 assists. So this guy's not only finishing it like he was last week, but he's dishing it out this week too. So showing you can get it both sides of the coin done there with a +5. Moving on, we've got another Winnipeg Jet, right D Hypnotic, the millionaire extraordinaire. He's got 5 points, finished with only 2 PIMs this week, and an impressive +7. He was in that lineup with Chicharito, finishing that win off against New Jersey, so an impressive week for that guy. And we're going to go ahead and give the nod to his line mate, Boney finishes off with a modest 2 points. Never been really known to be too involved in the offensive end, but a solid D-man nonetheless. And fun fact, the only player with a +2 turnover to takeaway ratio. So good week for Boney there. Congratulations. Where's my invite to the barbecue, you son bitch? All right. So moving on to goalie. We mentioned this in the prior segment there with J Money. Jones, the San Jose goalie, gets the nod this week. An impressive 91% save percentage. You don't see that in this game, especially with this latest patch. A 0.76 goals against average in what was it, 4 games? That's impressive. There's a couple of shutouts in there definitely, and only 3 goals against in those 4 games. So hats off to him. A great week helping San Jose out with those big wins, and that wraps up your Western lineup of the week.
All right, so those are our lines of the week. I think we've said enough. Fi, how about you, J Money? You've been quiet here.
I noticed the East. Happy for my teammates, Stiff. I think the reason that whole gamer tag thing, I think one of his accounts got banned. I think he had to switch to another one or something. I don't know if it was banned. I think it was a communications ban or something, because I remember there's a whole thread in it somewhere in LG. For LG.
It has something to do with Ultimate Team, I believe.
I have no clue about that, but Poland's finest. He is a really good puck handling defenseman. I've seen him get the puck out of dangerous scenarios where I thought a breakaway was probably coming. So good job for him.
And honestly, man, I know we say we only give it to guys that go undefeated, but Jones did have a loss, but man, those numbers were impressive, and I would have liked to have seen that game between you and him. I definitely think that would have been I feel, without even just looking at the stats, it had to have been a pretty good game to watch, let alone playing it.
I'll be streaming the rematch if there is one.
Oh, fantastic. That's good news. Fi, you want to make any comments on the East, or you good to go?
No, the East, we see a couple of repeat guys up there showing that the start of the season wasn't a fluke for them. So we'll be on the lookout to see if these guys can make a three-peat here.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of repeating names. Like I said, I think Klacken's the biggest surprise there, so good for him. So, all right. So that wraps it up for Lines of the Week. We're going to have Rebel talk a little bit more on the next segment. It's Rebel's Corner. Definitely don't want to miss it. Stick around. Hello and welcome back, as we are here for the most entertaining segment of the show. I would say entertaining. It was a pretty good one last week. Let's see if you can top it off this week. Fi, let's get to it. The Rebels Corner. Fi, take it away.
What's going on, boys? Welcome to another edition of the Rebels Corner. This week, I'm not going to try and moisten the room. You can leave all your girlfriends and your moms in the room. I'm not going to try and seduce anybody. But to start off, we've got a really great Eastern Rebel of the Week. A buddy of mine, and I'm glad he had a good one. Lidstrom X5, a.k.a. Crosscheck. The guy, he had one impressive game that kind of stuck out to me. A 3-2 win against the beat-up Cakes line for St. Louis. Anytime you get on the ice with Cakes, it's going to be a challenge. And I think we can all agree that Lidstrom has stepped up his defensive play. And he ends up coming out with a 3-2 win in that game, helping his team hold them to a 3-minute time on attack differential, which isn't, like I said, anytime you get on the ice with Cakes, that's impressive to hold them to that amount of time on attack. And, he ended up adding an extra apple in that, contributing to the 3-2 score. So, congratulations to Lidstrom on a well-earned game and an Eastern Rebel of the Week for the Carolina Canes. Moving on, we've already talked about these guys a little bit. And, if you have good weeks, guess what? We're going to talk about you, so you get to hear about them again. If you don't like it, then maybe step your shit up, okay? This Western Rebel of the Week comes to you from the Winnipeg Jets. Again, Boney. I'm still waiting for this Evite to the barbecue. My sister is on vacation next week, and we can all come up there. So I'm waiting on that, guy. As soon as you see this, I expect to have an auto notification for this invite. But we're going to go ahead and give him the Western nod with that big 3-2 win we were talking about earlier against New Jersey. That ended up being the CJ line, who has been a monster to play against so far and always a challenge. So impressive win for him. But on this special edition of the Rebels Corner, for the first time ever, we're going to give you 2 Western Rebels of the Week. Not only was Boney impressive, but as forementioned, the Schlemko line for Anaheim Ducks go 3-0 again. They're 6-0 for the season. I believe the only line to do that so far. Can we give these guys some first lines already? I'm tired of talking about the Frog, the artist formerly known as McLean, the waiver wire warrior. Okay? Let's give them some competition and see if these guys can keep it grinding out. And that's your 2 Western. Back to you, Bryson.
The Frog. You're getting a little close and touchy here, huh?
Well, J Money knows all about it.
J Money, you know all about the Frogs?
The Frogs are the group me I'm in is infested with frogs, and it is very frustrating. When it gets too Frenchy, I actually start going Spanish just to like flip it on them in the group.
Do you invite Chicharito into your group me?
Say that again?
Do you invite Chicharito into your group me?
Hey, Chicharito? He'll be the only one I can talk to.
Oh, that's ridiculous. But honestly, on to more pressing matters, I think the one thing that disturbs me the most, Vibe, is where your best interests are. Just giving Boney a Rebel spot all for a barbecue invite. I'm a little concerned about my show now.
No, he made it onto the line of the week. 3-0 week, certainly well deserved. I'm just trying to brown nose a little bit. I'm not above it. Ask my sister. I'm not above brown nosing.
I respect the honesty.
I don't want to venture any more into that topic. I'll let it be and wish you luck in here. And Boney sending you an invite to that bonanza. So, yeah, man, the Anaheim line of McLean and Hydro. It's impressive. They're playing very well, and I don't know. They're probably benefiting off of a team that most teams will look at and go, third line. But, it's kind of hard to schedule a week in advance unless you're Sweet Lou, who sees a challenging line, or the San Jose Sharks, who saw the GB Matt the Cool Cat line and, swapped it up a little bit just because, can't afford the big loss during the regular season.
I don't know. It's just weird. I just rather have the line set up. You know what's going on. I hate it when it's 2 hours before game time and no lineup is still set.
Yeah, I don't get it. For regular season, nonetheless, like
exactly.
If you're playing a shitter, put your shitters out. Unless you like to scrub hunt, then that's fine. But why are you changing it before games? Like, come on, save that shit for the playoffs. Like, you fucking getting yourself.
How would be his name? Schmirky used to switch out and put himself in the line when he would see me in the lineup. So you can't really fault him for it. They're scrub hunting.
Smirky, we miss him already. We miss his scumbagness. We need it back. But all right, so that wraps up for Rebels Corner. We're gonna head on over to the last segment, which is our top 10 power rankings, and we'll be right back to recap the show off with that. Stay tuned.
Where down we go.
Welcome back for our last segment of the show, episode 2, season 26. And we're just going to do the top 10 power rankings here. I'm going to run through the teams, talk about their weeks, how they did, and then we're all going to collectively talk as a group. By the way, back to the beginning of the show, we forgot to mention that I was correct. Young Prodigy does hold a Conn Smythe Award for season 20 with Montreal nonetheless. I remember him putting up impressive numbers through playoffs. And just something clicked there. I don't forget those kind of things. So I was correct on that, J Money.
Very impressive.
Very impressive. If only I could remember other things like my social security, and I'd be all right. All right. So we're moving on here. We're going to start at number 10. Start off from the bottom and move on up. At number 10, we've got Smitty's Washington Capitals, who put in a 5-4 week. Noticeable wins over Winnipeg, 1-0. St. Louis 4-3. Minnesota 4-3. 7-2 over Dallas. Shellacking there, and a 5-3 win over Tampa Bay. Couple losses that weren't too bad. Lost to Nashville, Buffalo. Some pretty decent teams. Colorado, Chicago, all decent teams. So nothing too devastating. Washington putting in a pretty good week. A pretty good start to the season overall for Washington here. At number 9, we've got the New York Rangers at 6-3. I believe I have that right. No, I don't have the New York Rangers. I apologize. It is the Colorado Avalanche. Excuse me. I am awful tonight. Colorado starting off the week strong with a big 1-0 win over the Islanders. That was a tough one. Other noticeable wins are over the Rangers and Pittsburgh 2-1. Huge win for Colorado, beating a top team like Pittsburgh this season. 4-0 over Washington, who we just mentioned, and a 7-0 win over Columbus. Some couple losses here that they've had. 4-3 over Carolina. Lost to Carolina. 9-3 to Philadelphia. 5-3 over Jersey. One of 2 wins for Jersey this week, and a 2-0 loss to Vancouver. So again, lost to a couple decent teams. Lost to 2 teams that are okay and 2 teams that are not okay. So Colorado's got to find themselves there on a couple of those games and could find themselves a little higher in the power rankings. Next up here at number 8, we've got the Columbus Blue Jackets, who went 5-4 as well. Big wins over Dallas 6-5, Chicago 2-1, Minnesota 6-0, Nashville 4-3, and St. Louis 2-1. That's a big one. Noticeable losses: 2-1 over Boston, 7-0 to Colorado, 6-3 against Winnipeg, and 5-1 against.
When they lost, they lost.
They lost big.
Yeah.
They're lucky they didn't lose more. GB and I were tired. No, but it was tough. Honestly, these power rankings were awful this week. We'll talk more about it after I'm done here. But there were a lot of 5-4 teams we just couldn't figure out. I know Colorado smacked Columbus, but Columbus just had those better wins. They beat Chicago, they beat Nashville, they beat St. Louis, some pretty big wins. And the teams they lost to were pretty good teams. I felt like Colorado lost to some worse teams than Columbus. So moving on then to number 7, we've got the Nashville Predators. Big wins over Washington, who we just mentioned earlier. 5-2, 5-4 over the New York Islanders, 3-2 win over Carolina, 2-1 win over Jersey, and 9-2 over New York. Losses: 2-0 to Calgary, 4-3 to Columbus, 5-4 to Pittsburgh, and 5-1 to Philadelphia. Besides that Philadelphia game, those are 3 very good teams they lost to by 1 goal. So very easily, this team might have been 8-1 and put in a pretty good week. So very unfortunate for Nashville. Hopefully they can change those other games around next week. Next up, we've got Goulash's Calgary Flames. They went 5-4 this week. Starting off the week rough with a 3-2 loss to Detroit. I understand. They're a good team. Big wins, however, over 3-2 over Montreal, 5-4 over Tampa Bay, 5-1 over Toronto, 6-5 over Florida, one of Florida's 2 losses this week, and a 2-0 win over Nashville. Their losses: 1-0 to Ottawa, 3-2 to Boston, 2-1 to Buffalo, and as I mentioned already, Detroit. Again, I felt like they lost games that were a little bit closer, 1-goal games, could have been turned around, and bam, Calgary is a little bit higher in these power rankings. Next up, I believe we are at number 5. Yes, we are. Number 5, we've got the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto put in another very good week. I believe they dropped in our power rankings from last week. Putting in a 6-3 week. Pretty impressive. Starting off the week with a 3-2 win over LA. Huge 5-3 win over the San Jose Sharks. 3-2 win over Edmonton. 3-2 over New Jersey. 2-0 over Vancouver. And 4-1 over New York. Their losses came against Anaheim 5-3. Calgary 5-1, and Arizona 2-1. All very decent teams besides Anaheim, but that Anaheim game, I'm going to go ahead and assume, Fi, that was the Hydro line, if I'm not mistaken. Not sure if you could confirm that for us or not.
Yeah, that was against the Crazy Kid, a.k.a. Nicky. His line, they ended up losing to Schlemko in that game.
So very a loss that really doesn't surprise if that line is as hot as they're appearing to be on paper here. So at number 4, we've got the Ottawa Senators. Pretty good week for Ottawa for the Sens. 6-3, big wins. 6-4 over New York, the Rangers. 3-2 over Arizona, 4-2 over Vancouver, 7-2 over LA, 2-1 over Anaheim, a close 1-0 win over Calgary. Their 3 losses came to Edmonton, Pittsburgh, and San Jose. All 3 very good teams, so not really too big of a deal losses. Nothing that would, I think, would really hurt their reputation for being a good teams so far this season. Now, I'll tell you, they score goals in the games that are weaker teams for sure and definitely put the pounding on, besides Anaheim. I don't know. Anaheim's hard to figure out. Sometimes they look great, other times they look miserable. So, very good week for Ottawa. 6-3. That's our number 4 team. Moving into the top 3 now. At number 3, we've got the San Jose Sharks at 6-3 as well as Ottawa. Gave the edge to San Jose because they beat Ottawa 4-1. Along with wins coming over Tampa Bay 2-1, Montreal 3-0, San Jose 2-0. San Jose, Buffalo 2-0, Detroit 4-2, Boston 5-0. Losses we could note on here: Toronto, already mentioned them, had a fantastic week. Florida, yet to come, 2-1 loss, and a horrible game, 7-3 loss to cap off the week against Winnipeg. Winnipeg putting in work in that last game there. Next up, at number 2, we've got the reigning Eastern Conference champs, Pittsburgh Penguins, putting in a 6-3 week. Pretty big wins here over Winnipeg, 3-2, Nashville 5-4, Boston 6-2, Chicago 4-0, 5-3 Dallas, and 5-3 over Ottawa. So their losses came to Colorado 2-1, St. Louis 4-2, and Minnesota 4-2. Pittsburgh's got an awesome team. They're definitely deserving of number 2. I think you're going to see these guys sit amongst the top for the majority of the season unless something devastating happens to these guys. And last but surely not least, as it comes no surprise to anyone, we've got the Florida Panthers. They are red hot right now. They did lose 2 of their 3 last games. However, they started this week off strong. They at one point were on a 10-game win streak from week 1 into week 2. Starting off the week very with a dominating fashion, 10-2 over Edmonton and 10-1 over the Islanders on Sunday, and then continue on through the week, 6-3 over Vancouver, 3-2 over Anaheim, 2-1 over San Jose, 2-1 over Arizona, 3-0 to Jersey, and their losses were 6-3 against LA and 6-5 against Calgary. The games they lost, they still put up a lot of goals, and even like something that's pretty impressive is they play against Calgary and they put up 5 goals. So that this team's going to score a lot of goals, as Jay Money's mentioned. It's pretty nice to play goalie for a team that has that much goal support. So that's your top 10 power rankings, guys. I'll let it to you to make a couple comments on these teams.
I'll let you go first, fine.
Well, Bryson likes to forebode a little bit with his, and just foreshadowing if something drastic happens with these guys, I intend on seeing them at the top of the league. Well, guess what, Bryson? With Pittsburgh having Nicky Leaks on the roster, there's a pretty good chance he leads them back to the promised land. So I wouldn't expect any downfalls for Pittsburgh anytime soon.
I think my prediction that Nicky Leaks gives up his current religion and starts to praise Allah and quits LG. That's my prediction. Go ahead, Jay Bunny.
Definitely want to give Florida. I promise I didn't bribe them or anything. I think we earned that one. Where do I want to go with this? You're going to notice a lot of the top teams, Florida's up there, but definitely Pittsburgh, as they've said, you give them a lot of props. And Winnipeg, they control the puck a lot, and it reflects on the other end as they they face the fewest shots per game, and it's ridiculous. 10 shots, 9 shots, and you really need to control the puck against those top teams, and you have to make sure that you can take advantage of those few chances that you're going to get. But just throw it on net, because a lot of weird stuff happens in this game if you throw the puck on net.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a lot of truth behind that statement, especially, I guess, coming from a goalie, huh?
Oh, yeah, when that 6-5 game you said where we lost to, I forgot what was it, New Jersey, you said, I believe it was, 6-5? I watched that stream, and at one point we had 3 goals on 0 shots, and I felt bad for the other goalie. I think it was like Beaupre or something. And
that's a joke, right? That's seriously what happened?
Yeah, it was either like a pass in front, and it would just go off of their defenseman skating in, or just take other weird bounces. And I don't even know how we were in that game, because I think they outshot us 27-16 or something like that.
It was Calgary. I just checked up
Calgary.
on it, but wow, that's
I
crazy.
want you to think about what you just said there. 3 goals on no shots, and you lost the game by 1 point. Everybody watching, make sure you put in your pre-orders for NHL 18.
Wow, that's a marketing standpoint. You want to do something that can't be done, just buy NHL. But all right, yeah. I mean, thank you guys for doing the show. This was great. That does the top 10 power rankings, and that does it for the whole show, I suppose. You guys got any closing remarks besides? I'm sure I'm going to hear the people brought on J Money to brag about his Panthers. Are we going to see you next week, J Money? Even if the Panthers shit the bed. Next week?
Well, the thing is, I could talk shit about Florida, and 90% of them wouldn't even know what I'm saying. So,
little this we have a sponsor that pays for subtitles, so you just pick your language.
It's Spanish, please.
It's Spanish, yeah, only in Espanol. So, yeah, I mean, here's the challenge, guys. Put all your first lines out against Florida, especially if you see J Money in net. We want to see him on the show to talk about how poorly his team does this week.
No, thank you.
Fi, as always, sir, it's always been a pleasure, man. Thank you for being on the show. Of course, J Money, you're always welcome back, man. It was great having you here, and hopefully we'll have more of the panel back next week, and we could have a couple more clowns to add to the panel. And till then, thank you all for watching, and we will see you all next week.
Down to your car, oh way down we go.